Hi, I'm Eileen. The field of microbiology our group choose is fashion industry. And the topic of our presentation is microbes that make it fashion. The reason why our group choose fashion industry as our topic is because that fashion is all around us in our daily life. For example, the clothes we wear every day is also a part of fashion. However, we know less on the impact of fashion in our life and how is microbiology relevant in the industry. Hence, we decided to choose this topic to know more about it. Now I would like to do a brief introduction about the fashion industry. So what is fashion industry? It is a multi-billion dollar global enterprise which based on making and selling clothes to people. It is said to be the second most polluting industry in the world. Besides that, there are multiple challenges currently faced by the fashion industry which are waited to be solved. What are fashion industry challenges? First, modern fashion causing the faster production and consumption cycles, which produce great waste. For example, according to researchers, about 14% of fiber manufacture is being wasted, which means that not all fibers produced is fully utilized. Next, during the manufacturing process, there will be a waste of water, and some toxic chemicals might be used during the process and cause an unwanted environmental problem. At the same time, sustainability is also a worldwide trend that the fashion industry tries to follow up. However, there's still a long way until a more sustainable fashion industry is being achieved. Recently, researchers and scientists have found out that microbiology have potential to solve challenges such as some environmental and technical problems in the fashion industry. Now, I'd like to list some of the microbes that are useful in the industry. First of all, will be Bacillus subtilis natto. This microbe has an absorbent properties which helps it to develop a material that responded to body moisture. It is also able to functionalize development to diminish the mouth odor and eventual skin infection. Next will be Ganoderma lucidum and Pleurotus ostreatus. Both of this is under the kingdom of fungi, which can also known as mushroom. They can be used in mycelium production, and mycelium here forms the root structure of mushroom and has long cells acting like fiber akin to leather, which makes it used to form fiber which apply in clothing. Besides that, microorganisms or microbes can be used in synthetic biology. Other than using natural biomaterials, researchers engineer living organisms to produce synthetic material for the fashion industry. Instead of using just a single type of microorganism, just like what I mentioned before, researchers now engineer the whole communities of it. And this can help the industry to reach the sustainable goals. However, the microbes that are functional in fashion industry doesn't limit it to what I've just mentioned just now. In our presentation, we'll just be focusing on a type of microbe which is Bacillus subtilis natto.
Next, I'm Mavila, and I'm going to talk about the microorganism that we are focusing on, which is Bacillus subtilis. Bacillus subtilis is a member of the genus Bacillus, a gram-positive aerobic bacterium. It is rod-shaped with a length of 2 to 6 micrometer and less than 1 micrometer in diameter. Bacillus subtilis has a single cell membrane which facilitates protein secretion. Next, the optimal growth temperature is about 30 to 35 degrees Celsius, giving as little as 20-minute doubling time. Besides, the cell have a tendency to create lengthy chains joined by septal wall material that cannot be cleaved under certain growth conditions. Under situation of starvation, the cells can go through a complex two-cell differentiation process that results in the production of an endospore. This endospore is then expelled by lysis to mother cell that is surrounding it. Vegetative cells may move around as an alternative. They can create spore-containing biofilms and fruiting bodies. Bacillus subtilis has the inherent capacity for extracellular DNA absorption that makes simple genetic alteration and sporulation potential. Due to their superior capacity for protein secretion, these factors have led to its widespread application in the production of heterologous proteins. It is also generate a number of lucrative products, most notably protease and amylase. Bee subtilis can be isolated from various environments, from soil to marine habitats, and utilized in various applications from enzyme production and food fermentation to plant biocontrol. Therefore, due to its highly efficiency protein secretion system and adaptable metabolism, it has been widely used as a cell factory for microbial production of chemical, enzyme, and antimicrobial materials for industry, agriculture, and medicine. B. subtilis plays a major role in the food industry such as fermented products, flavor enhancer, sweeteners, and animal feed additives. In the health industry, it acts as a model organism for the development of sporicide, which is a chemical agent that kills spores. Meanwhile, in agriculture, Bacillus subtilis is a common plant growth promoting rhizobacteria in soil that plays a key role in conferring biotic and abiotic stress tolerance to plants by induced systemic resistance, biofilm formation, and lipopeptide production. Lastly, Bacillus subtilis have probiotic strains that contain antimicrobial, anti-cancer, antioxidant, and vitamin production properties that can produce probiotic, vaccine, vitamins, and antibiotics.
Now I'll be talking about the specific microbiome that we have chosen for this presentation. The history between textile and the skin microbiome, which is the microbiome that resides on the skin, goes down a long way. The skin is characterized with unfavorable growth conditions for pathogenic microorganisms acting as the first line of defense. However, commensal bacteria such as Staphylococcus species and Corynebacterium species have high tolerance to the acidic skin surface and also have a preference for sweat and sebum in terms of growth conditions. These bacteria are also known as the axillary microbiome, which reacts to sweat to produce odor. Knowing that, more care is given to the moisture management, air permeability, heat transfer regulation of the fabric, which is highly dependent on the fiber type. In response to this, studies and research has found that species such as Bacillus, Lactobacillus, Enterobacter, and many more other species are efficient in odor control. The recent findings are from the MIT research team called the Biologic. They developed a synthetic material with a bacterial solution to produce biohybrid film that reacts to heat and sweat. In this image, dozens of triangular flaps open up and expand for heat regulation and airflow. Here we are focusing on the Bacillus subtilis natto used as a humidity-sensitive nano-actuator. Bacillus subtilis natto is a variant of Bacillus subtilis isolated from natto, the Japanese fermented soybean. The cortex of the bacteria endospore contains a hygromorphic peptidoglycan which changes its shape in response to the environmental relative humidity RH. The specialized structure facilitates the outer spore coat to fold into organized regions over the cortex as it contracts during dehydration. This mechanism also facilitates the rapid diffusion pathway such that the spores begin to swell almost immediately in response to the elevated RH. However, vegetative natto cells are used as it also poses hygromorphic phenomenon and it gives a greater bending curvature to the fabric. It is believed that the cell expands in high RH to allow water absorption by intracellular proteins. Therefore, biology produced a second skin by printing composite biofilm of living natto cells onto surfaces of spandex, where the flap bends more when humidity is high and lay flatter when humidity is low. Moving on to the advantages and disadvantages that could be possibly caused by this invention. Bacillus subtilis natto has been associated with potential health benefits due to the production of nattokinase, an enzyme with potential cardiovascular and circulatory system benefits. If clothing made from Bacillus subtilis natto derived material were to release or interact with nattokinase, it might offer certain health benefits to the wearer. Moreover, clothing made with Bacillus subtilis natto derived materials might be biodegradable, which offers a solution to textile waste. Compared to conventional synthetic fiber, these materials are likely to be more biodegradable and environmentally friendly due to its organic nature. However, the disadvantages include the allergenic potential brought by the material. Some individuals may be allergic or sensitive to certain bacterial strains such as Bacillus subtilis. It will be crucial to assess and mitigate any potential allergic reactions or sensitivities that could arise from using these materials in clothing. Next, a greater microbiome contamination risk. During the production of clothing, especially when it involves live bacteria such as the Bacillus subtilis natto, it could pose a risk to microbiome contamination. Strict quality control measures will be necessary to ensure the absence of harmful bacteria or pathogens both during the production and in the finished garments. As this is a new finding, more research and testing are needed to confirm these possible advantages and disadvantages.
My name is Yui, and now I'll be talking about the future prospects of using microbes in textiles. The first assumption is that in 10 to 15 years, the use of microbes in textiles could replace many animal and plastic-based textiles that we are using today. The fashion industry is one of the industries that produce the most waste. Up to 100 billion new garments are made each year, and 60% of that clothing are plastic. And the world produces 92 million tons of textile waste every year, with 87% of the materials used to make clothing end up in the landfill, and only 1% of the clothing are recycled. Microbiological clothes are different from animal and plastic-based textiles in the way that they are all natural, meaning that they are biodegradable and eco-friendly and can help reduce textile waste. This is an example of an ongoing project using bacterial cellulose to produce fabrics by fashion designer Suzanne Lee from Bioculture. She used cellulose produced by bacteria grown in sweet green tea to make the clothes shown in the image here. So, microbes in textiles has huge potential to replace animal and plastic-based textiles and help to achieve a more sustainable future and a greener future in the fashion industry. The second assumption is that the use of microbes in textiles could improve skin conditions and eventually solve completely skin problems related to textiles. Common fibers that we are using now, such as polyester, rayon, and nylon, are harmful to those with skin problems. This is because they trap sweat and might irritate the skin. This biologic workout clothes, mentioned by previous sections, is the breathable workout suit by MIT. It has Lactobacillus subtilis in it that absorb the wearer's sweat to open the flaps at the back of the clothes. And this helps in ventilation and may decrease skin irritation. Another example is through the incorporation of probiotic bacteria into textiles that may help to resolve skin problems. And this is an example of the project Skin 2 by Rosie Broadhead and Dr. Chris Callery. They incorporate probiotics from seaweed into a bodysuit, shown in the picture here. The microorganisms are activated in contact with moisture on skin, and they are able to dominate less beneficial bacteria on the skin. And this helps to improve skin conditions by encouraging cell renewal and improve the skin's immune system. While the incorporation of probiotic in textiles are not fully understood because there are many strains of probiotic that has many advantages, it is a promising technique to combat skin problems. Therefore, wearing microtextiles may decrease skin irritation, and it may also help the good bacteria in our skin to thrive, and thus improve our overall skin condition. Moving on to the challenges. One of the challenges faced using microbes in textiles is the durability of the clothing. Because many of this technology is still under research phase, so the durability of the clothing is unknown. An example is that the biologic clothes mentioned previously, and it is unknown whether the repetitive washing of the clothes will affect the efficacy of the mechanism of Lactobacillus subtilis in the clothes. This raises many questions like, is the clothes suitable to be washed, or how many times the clothes can be washed? And there are other concerns, such as the clothes' resistance to friction and chemicals. And the solution is that through extensive research, we can obtain an optimum quality and durability of the clothing. The second challenge is the public opinion. This is because many of the public have a stereotypical view that bacteria is bad and gross. Even though Bacillus subtilis is safe enough to be used in food, such as in probiotics, people may fear that the bacteria will contaminate their homes or harm the children. And this decreases potential buyers. Another thing is the cost. Because microbiological textiles are more expensive than the textiles that we are using now, so the consumer may opt for the cheaper, non-eco-friendly textiles that we are using now, instead of buying the microbe textile. The solution to this is through raising public awareness. Large clothing companies can post on social media platforms about the advantages of using microbe textiles. and there could be TV shows that shows the process of making microtextiles. This can help eliminate the stereotype that all bacteria is gross and increase consumer awareness of choosing a more sustainable product over a lower cost product.
Now I'm going to do a recap on what we have discussed in this video. In the beginning, we talked about the challenges faced by the fashion industry, in which the textile waste can be solved by replacing the current fabric materials with synthetic biomaterials and bacteria such as Bacillus subtilis natto, Gynoderma lucidum, and Pleurotus austratus. Next, we talk about the taxonomy, structure, characteristics, and roles of Bacillus subtilis. Then we move on to the history between textile and skin microbiome. Specifically, how commensal bacteria can be used to control odor by regulating the moisture, air permeability, and heat transfer in fabric. For example, a synthetic material that produces biohybrid film can regulate heat and airflow. We also discussed the mechanism of Bacillus subtilis natto, how its peptidoglycan and spores play a role in regulating the moisture and air permeability. And then we mentioned the impacts of using Bacillus subtilis in fabric production, how it produces textile waste and brings health benefits, although it poses risks for allergic reactions and microbial contamination. And lastly, we discussed the future prospects of microbiomes in the fashion industry, where it can be used as a green approach in textile production to reduce waste, improve garment quality, and skin condition. However, because it's still a new approach, expensive, lacks research and public awareness, the world is not ready for this microbiome revolution in the fashion industry yet. Fashion industry is the second most polluting industry, which is second to the oil in the world. It is responsible for 20% of global industrial water pollution. However, by utilizing microbes in textile production, we are striving towards a sustainable fashion. Sustainability is a global trend that every brand and textile manufacturer wants to participate in. Therefore, these industrial players are interested in introducing more sustainable materials and practices. Currently, there may be enough technologies and innovations to solve fashion industry's main problems. Despite the urgency need for change, there is still a long way until a more sustainable fashion industry is achieved. Therefore, microbiological research and innovation need maturation to be able to scale up and reach a global impact for tackling fashion industrial problems. It will take global cooperation to reinvent the fashion industry. After hearing about how microorganisms can be used in the fashion industry, I hope you all have gained insights into the mechanisms and benefits of microbes in the fashion industry, especially in textile production, and have found a newfound respect for microorganisms. Who knows, microbes might be the next big trend in the fashion industry someday. Thank you for watching our video. We hope that you will have a nice day.